It was summertime in the Smokies, and the trail tribe was assembled once again. Chad, Nick, and Samuel were joined by first-time backpacker Kyle in search of the remote peak of Mount Guyot, second highest in the Smokies. The hike began at the Cosby campground. From there, we would climb up to Low Gap, then descend to Walnut Bottom. We would follow Big Creek until we reached the relentless climb of Gunter Fork. After gaining the top of the ridge, we would follow the Balsam Mountain Trail to Tricorner Knob, where we would spend the night. In the morning, we would hike the Appalachian Trail to Mount Guyot. Then we would leave the trail and bushwhack our way towards the peak. Whether we found it or not, we'd end the hike with a long descent down Snake Den Ridge back to the Cosby campground. As soon as we stepped on the trail, the morning heat weighed heavily upon us. Our clothes were drenched almost immediately. It felt like we were climbing out of an ocean trench toward the relief of island mountaintops. We saw chanterelles fruiting like corals, mollusks and arthropods creeping across the trail bed. The rays of a distant sun splintering through the depths and scattered across our faces.
You're good. Woo! I hope this is the track.
At Gunter Fork Cascades, we shrugged off our packs for a much-needed break. It felt like we'd already hiked a full day, but the hardest miles were still ahead of us. All of us were grateful for the sweet, rejuvenating waters of the mountain.
What is it? Buddha? Oh, I believe so. Good.
From there, the climb grew steeper, with the trail sometimes crumbling away from the mountainside. Occasionally, there was a break in the thicket, and we could see plunging valleys and distant balds and hard-wooded slopes capped with fir and spruce. Acres of mountainside were covered in rhododendron blossoms. It looked as if someone had punched a hole in the mountain and the flowers came spilling out. We walked through places where the mountain laurel bloomed pink against the sky and fell like summer snow. Finally, with scraped knees and sweaty brows, we reached the Sky Island.
What do you think? We're shooting for about 8 now.
I'll probably get another snack on top of my other snack.
Get an extra can of NOS in your system.
Oh.
Swear after he had those 12 packs of oatmeal, he just started going at 5 miles an hour.
The remaining miles were flat. They consisted of quartz glistening like a melting glacier, of the chittering of squirrels and the fragrance of balsam, of a gathering gloom beneath the trees and a golden glow beyond them.
Man down.
Is my camera okay?
Are you okay?
That's more important that my camera's okay. Got a lot of weight here.
Come on, boys.
Then, at last, after nearly 18 miles and over 5,000 feet of elevation gain, we reached the Appalachian Trail and Tricorner Knob.
Y'all got a high five. New buddy.
All right.
I was gonna say, you know you can start a fire with potatoes.
Why would we start a fire with
You know, okay.
There we found a shelter buzzing with through hikers, section hikers, peak baggers, and weekend warriors, all united by the relief of day's end. Soon we were part of the tableau. Steaming meals and foggy breath, wet gear laid out over every surface, laughter, stories, and an early bedtime for all.
Yeah, how did she die? Well, she had one Frito in her stomach.
She could have either had a fire or she could have had last supper.
Perception, which is kind of ironic here. Says that.
Eight,
Oh,
six,
okay.
5, 3, and 9. That's
That would be good.
definitely it. We should do it actually. I just realized everything else probably as good as
I guess the laurels made it worth it, kind of.
Yeah, yeah,
Kinda.
it's nice to see the mountain laurels.
Yeah, it was nice.
I didn't know what was going on right now.
I better get
Again.
some odd light.
I don't think.
You got high hopes for that mountain.
I don't care that much about short pain of climbing 500 feet in a really bad period of time, but climbing a mountain for 4 hours, like just steady up, and then the winding in and back. It's like then cross some water, you know, and fall on your face a couple times. The amount of times that we all fell
I know.
on that freaking mountain is ridiculous. Like on the side, I about went head first. Me and Sam skipped over the same rock.
We missed that one.
Mount Guyot was on our minds all morning. All we could think about was reaching the peak. Guyot is notable for having no trail to its peak, and we'd heard reports of many people failing to find it. We all hated the idea of failure, so we studied topographic maps and considered several routes.
Let's do it.
I never took my jacket off.
But when it came down to it, we abandoned our plans. We picked a spot where the trees grew thinner, and we began climbing the last few hundred feet towards the peak. As long as we were consistently moving higher, we knew we were headed in the right direction.
Big old slug.
Are we there?
We're there.
Everybody.
6621. That's a mountain. So this is
so bad.
No, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't as much elevation as I thought it was.
We would have did it with our backpacks on.
Oh.
That would have sucked.
No thanks.
Looking back at Mount Guyot and the surrounding peaks, I realized that it wasn't finding the peak that mattered so much to me. It was searching for the peak. It was that sense of exploration that is often lacking on the marked trail. That's part of what drew me to backpacking in the first place. The freedom to roam through a trackless wilderness, wondering if I'm the first person to ever set eyes on this particular tree or to step in this exact spot. Creating that personal connection with the place has drawn me into the woods again and again for decades now. And as time goes on, I realize how important it is to share that connection with other people. Both the people who were present in the moment and the people to whom I return at the end of the trail.
You guys filming something?
Yeah, we do YouTube videos.
Yeah, the good news is that nobody watches my YouTube channel.
I'm going to.
Hey, we will to your next
Thank
new
you, I
followers.
appreciate that. You got new subscribers.
In this documentary, we see the man behind bluegrass backcountry. In the backcountry.
Which flower were you shooting?
That one.
Robusto! Ooh! How about this peak bag?
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Where have my bloopers been today? What am I doing? Gotta get one for the blue beyond the campfire.
Chungai brothers, unite. Our dead cats are touching.
I would say I'd rather carry it on my back than in my colon.
I said a lot of bad words.
Chad, the one sitting on the ground, he's got so many bloopers at the end of his video. His camera's rolling and it just takes a tumble.
Every time, every trip.
Is it still rolling?
Yeah, it's still rolling. I'm surprised it hasn't fallen off there yet.